So welcome everybody. Just a collecting, a gathering, a settling. This is the time and space that this sense of knowing can be known. Allowing the posture to reflect a balanced ease. And this well-wishing. Gathered, collected, knowing. Knowing this knowing. A sense of the body, a sense of the energy of the body, the knowing of this, sensing of this body in the mind. Mind in the body, the sensitivity focused, collected around this. Allowing the gathering as gift of attention, this receiving of experience, this giving life to life, care. Not rejecting past regrets, past longings, not rejecting fears and hopes, and not dwelling there, dwelling in the present experience, energetic. This knowing before words, before thoughts, before interpretation. Enjoying the interest, appreciating life, and giving care, attention. Receiving, and the whole of this experience known, the knowing, the rhythm of this breath, received and released. Knowing this knowing, steadily practicing this. caring for this, letting it go. Connecting with this, collecting, gathering, sustaining, a welcoming of experience, a willingness to bear, releasing of fears, regrets, hopes, or fond memories. This knowing is known. and quality of this knowing is no naturally allowing the sustaining to support life and freedom. The knowing of the citta, the attention turned inward, and then the simple stillness of an alert, relaxed posture. The all the irritations, all the hopes and fears, regrets and worries, all the longings, all the physical sensations, the impulses to go to get comfortable or get rid of, for a brief time, just a few 15 minutes or so. A tiny practice of just Eightfold Path. No getting or gaining or getting rid of. It's direct knowing of this knowing as a gateway to life, to sensitivity, a gateway to this caring. And the being that needs the most care, the place that one can give the most care, is this one. Because the rest, quite honestly, nature and all the rest of the beings that are part of this whole business, all the rest of the separations, all the rest of the strange bits that call themselves individuals, all the different things and energies and bits, they really don't have the same capacity to care for this thing as you do, as this one can. It's at one level they can't. and at another level they don't. It's just, this is where the practice and the freedom lies. And in this, it's such a gift to all the rest. It's the simple joy of generosity, the simple joy of that capacity to feel that one can give. That is, at whatever level, however one can help and support, and the way that one feels when one does that. This is the being that gets most benefit. Whatever one gives, it's fine, they get benefit, but what they do with it, you don't know because it's given. But the act of giving is, and then the person that really needs it is this one, and the person that really appreciates is the attention that can be given in this moment to this life. And it's given. It's not some sort of. It's not some sort of. Nobody's twisting your arm. It's not. Nobody's making you do this. It can't be done through somebody forcing. I mean, there were, one of my teachers, and I think they still do it to a certain extent in some parts, in the government departments in some of the Southeast Asian countries. They actually, where the government servants were actually paid to go on retreats because they realized it was so beneficial, and actually learn some ways of working with this attention. So, a complete giving to a technique, surrendering one's own views and opinions about what should happen and what one should be thinking about and what one should be doing, and just doing some simple technique. It's called, that's the way to absorption. You get beyond doubt, beyond worry, beyond anything. You just say, I'll do this. I'll give attention to the breath going in and out of my nostrils, or the belly rising and falling, whatever it is. Keep doing that, and of course there's absorption. Yeah, if you keep doing it. I mean, for some people it's easier than others, but it's a basic exercise, and that can change the perspective as to how this thing works. And that's helpful because, for the most part, most creatures haven't the faintest idea what's going on at all levels. At all levels, any of this funny thing that we call this sense of separation, for the most part, it's conditioned, very strongly conditioned and simplified, because we don't even know what irritates us enough to make us sneeze. So it's a strange thing that that something like that has to happen as an automatic business of this thing. And it's and don't get me more embarrassed. What else it can do? It's, because if you take, and then you take it personally, and then you sense of, I don't want this, I don't want to sneeze, I don't want, and then the rest of it whirls up a whole complication according to different habits. But humans, they really do have the capacity to give this attention inwards. And talking the other day about thought, and mental kamma, intentional thought. And it's funny because if intentions just stay at the level of thought, then there's no breaking of the precepts. I can think, I want to kill this person, or I want to do this, I want to do that. And there's no actual breaking of the precepts. But it's still kamma if there's a dwelling on it and a habitual thing of it. And that's actually quite strong. It's very strong, actually. And a lot of that, we don't even know the levels of that's working at. Because a lot of the thinking and the habitual stuff is at levels that we don't know. Why the things react like they do. Why there's this thing and that allergy or that business, because it's all causes and conditions, and we don't, this is what we're unaware of. And not knowing that, and not knowing that we don't know, is what ignorance is. And ignorance, as we all know, is the root cause of all the problems. And not knowing that we don't know is what ignorance is. Once we know that we don't know, whoa, that's already pretty scary. But it's the way for liberation, that recognition. Because it allows this whole thing to be as it is. Because it's not the sort of trying to fit it into the known. And because what we tend to want to know is what we like. We want more of that. And what we also tend to want to know is what we don't like, because we don't want that. And we get stuck in this, and then we wonder why there's all this vacillation. Then, of course, all the other beings in all the other things, that they also have their likes and dislikes, and unfortunately, they're not always the same as us, or at the same time as us. If only these people would behave in this way, then I'd be happy. It's just, So we have the basic thing of generosity, and then, the level of actually what we actually do physically or verbally, then you've got some restraints, some constraints. The basic societal ones that most people, most of the time, actually do accept is not killing, particularly humans, not stealing, not misusing sexuality, not lying, and not being intoxicated. That's what all the rules are about. And that basic thing allows society to exist. When it doesn't, it's called war. and a breakdown of society and a breakdown of human behavior. It goes to the animal and the demon level. When those things are deliberately overruled, and what they do to a human when it does that is it desensitizes it. So it's less, the human is less able to be alive, because insensitivity is called death. Actually, no. Well, the human part of insensitivity is called death. Yeah, corpses do respond, but they don't know that they respond. They just blow up or get burnt or whatever they do. But humans, the human part is the human life is incredibly sensitive. It's amazing. It's absolutely stunningly amazing. And so, so powerful. And this is the one that we have to work with. This is the basic one we have to work with. So, to really look at or reflect on, or really practice thought that is harmless, non-exploitative, and non-indulgent, and dwells on the Dhamma. That samasankappa is that's thought that's in accordance with truth. Now that's where mind is forerunner, mind is chief, because that's how the karma works, is through the resolve. Then recognizing that in harming others, or in harming, or harming ourselves, actually, it desensitizes and it makes us less alive. It's possible to really know this knowing and know the quality of this knowing and how it works. And when we indulge, what we're doing is, again, in harming others, we have to be insensitive. And indulging, we harm ourselves because it overstimulates. And we get a false reading on what's happening as it numbs this thing. Indulging is like sort of seeking sensual pleasure at the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and just wallowing in it or overstimulating it. And in using the thought and just distracting ourselves, that's again it's a desensitizing. It's a diverting of this this energy of life into fantasy and all sorts of bits and pieces that we can just spend all day daydreaming about, or concentrating on thinking about what we can do about this person because they did this to us and because we want to do this to them, or what they should be doing because they should really know what they should be doing, and the mind just can go. And there's no life in that. There's no life in that. It's a dead habit. And it might have had some use at some point. It's not that it's useless, and it's not, I shouldn't do that. I should not be doing that. I should be doing. It's another beating up that we do. And it's not that there shouldn't be aspiration, but aspiration comes from a sense of, hey, if I figure this out in the right way, then this can happen. It's a blessing. This can be something that can be cared for. There's a place for that. And there's aspiration to really understand, really learn from this moment, the humility to stay still for 15 minutes. Come on, that's all we've got. What's all we're doing at the beginning? It's just 15 minutes. Stay still for an hour. Just allow the body to be still for an hour. It actually is not still, as you well know, because it breathes. If it was still, it would be, be frozen or something. Because there's always something happening in the body, and then the mind is to use that as a reflection, and then the walking meditation is something, and then the lying down meditation, using it so that this is the cultivation of the Eightfold Path is it keeps that going, the interest keeps going, the care keeps going, because we wish ourselves well. And this is the best thing we can do for ourselves and for others. What else is really worth it? Yeah, yes, there are other stuff that has to be done, and you need to clean the toilets and get the cooking done and all this sort of stuff. But to give time to practice, and then to reflect that there's no need to harm, there's no need to exploit, there's no need to indulge. To do what's the right thing to do here, and know that we don't really know all of it. Know when the mind spins and tries to know all of it. Know when the mind goes off into fantasies about I'd love to be able to do this. When I get there, then I'll be able to do that. And it's not that all that's wrong, but careful about how much energy one puts into it. Know what one's doing and know the balance of it. How if in this moment, what in the next moment can be a blessing. And I've said what a blessing is many times. The possibility of encouraging the realization of that which hasn't been realized, the doing of something that's actually beneficial for oneself or for others or for whatever one's actually interacting with. Keeping things clean and knowing where things are, tidying things up. It's a way of blessing, and at every level. And cursing is damaging stuff. And sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's unintentional, sometimes blessings are unintentional. You don't know what the effect that you're going to have on people or what your actions will be for other people or for other things. Because sometimes you make mistakes, sometimes you don't know what other people are doing or what other things are doing. And, because you're never going to get it right. Sorry. At many levels, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be what you want. There's going to be conflict because that's the nature of this thing. There's going to be conflict. And There's going to be this sense of, I don't like this, I like that. I don't want to be separated from this. I want to keep with this. And this body is going to go through its own cycle because that's the way that the body is. And then it doesn't work all the time just as you want it. It sneezes at the wrong time. Something happens. It's the nature of dukkha, of the stress of that. And it's not supposed to be otherwise. It's part of this business of the compulsion that comes from lack or overwhelm or just impatience. I want the next thing. When's the next thing happening? I want the next thing. Karma tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. And the fuel for that. And the way out is this turning attention inwards, knowing what we're putting out, knowing where it's coming from, and knowing the depths of this, the unknown of this, because where does this begin and end? Is the body in the mind? Is the mind in the body? How is this body really experienced? How is this energy really experienced, this thing? Where does it begin and end? How does it begin and end? And where does thought end? Now, what is not thinking? And the way that the attention works with that, and how does that work? And allowing that to be something that is, the knowing of this knowing. In whatever is happening, there needs to be a certain steadiness and collectedness for this to happen, and whatever continuity one can give to this. The practice of the continuity for 15 minutes is great, and of kindness is of great value. A moment of mindfulness is of great value. Appreciating that. That's what, and if you're listening to this, or if you're hearing this, or if you're seeing this, or you somehow come across this, then it's your right to practice it. And there's nobody that can stop you. Because this is where your freedom is going to lie. It's not going to be getting or gaining anything or getting rid of anything. Sorry. It's not going to be getting enlightened. I'm sorry. It's on this practice. And it's not getting rid of my ignorance or getting rid of my greed or getting rid of my hatred. It's the my that makes the fixed thing that goes up and down. And the attention inward is what's not thinking. But giving the space to that, receiving that awareness. This is what we, strangely enough, it's something that we can do, and actually it's quite fun. Because it's what's not fun is getting caught in hating, or getting caught in longing, or getting caught in demanding, that's not fun. It's not pleasurable. It's more painful for oneself and for others. No. This is what we can do, and this is what life allows us. This is what our human privilege is. So I offer that for your consideration this evening, and if there are any further questions, then I'm happy to try. It's just a little bit that might help, might not. You can leave it behind. You might have already turned off the video if you clicked on it and found it was boring. You don't need to click on the next one. So, because there's plenty of people and plenty of good Dhamma nowadays. Thank you. I think with meditation practice, now maybe I don't talk a lot about practicing a technique or developing a skill in that. And I don't want to put it down because it's something that one can play with. It's more like one explores how things work. Like a sort of, oh, this is how it works. If I do this with this mind, and then it does that. No, it's like there's a certain, narrowing of attention into something so that you figure out how it works, which is okay. But if that's all that one does, then one gets very good at that. And that's not, I'm not trying to knock that as a skill. It's worth putting effort into it. Like learning the chanting or giving a lot of time for anapanasati, or for the walking meditation with the attention on the movement, or the lying down meditation and the attention on the stillness and the sense of support, and a sense of release. Giving that sort of thing is excellent. Okay, 5 questions. Yeah, the thing about intention and karma, and the thing about animals, monkeys stealing bags of crisps from shops, do animals also create karma? Yes, they do. The difficulty with the animal karma is that they don't know what they're doing. And that's what humans also do. They create karma without knowing that they're creating karma. There's intention, but there's not any reflection on it. And that's why it's difficult for animals to get out of the animal realm. That's why it's helpful to train animals to do things that are beautiful. That's why something like a dog that acts as eyes for a blind person, is such a skillful thing to do. And why an ill-behaved dog or an untrained dog that just makes a nuisance of itself is such a nuisance. And monkeys, they don't know what they're doing, but they're creating karma. Sorry. They don't have the perception of other, belonging to another, but they do have the perception, I want that, and somebody else has got it. So pinch it. You know, really, it's an unconscious thing. Yeah, maybe he was in the hell realms for many years, Mahamoggallana, before he came out. Mahamoggallana was supposed to occupy the position of Mara at one point in one of his lifetimes. So, had a long and varied career, did Mahamoggallana. I recommend a quicker. You don't all have to go through all of that. Certainly don't murder your parents. It's not a good idea. One cites that one sincere heart, when we be born in the Western paradise of Pure Land, place of perfect beauty, purity, and well, I don't know. I don't teach Pure Land Buddhism, but one of the things was, and so I've only sort of heard bits of it, but one of the things of the Pure Land is where everything is teaching you the Dhamma. In the Pure Land, everything is teaching you the Dhamma. Now, right now, everything is teaching you the Dhamma. You're prepared to awaken to it. So if you want to be reborn in the Pure Land, the only time you're going to be reborn in the Pure Land is now. No, it's not somewhere in the future, because everything is revealing the truth, because that's what it is. And where is time and space anyway? Now, it's a convenience, time and space. It's a convenience simplification of experience. It's a very, very strange thing. And we're really caught up in it because we're really caught up in language, really caught up in thinking, really caught up in the power of emotions, really caught up in the power of instinct. And instinct is a type of karma. It's a very unconscious karma. But the Pure Land is where everything is teaching us. And that's where, and there's an appreciation. It's a land of mudita, because there's consciousness. It's a land of pure consciousness, and everything is teaching us the Dhamma, because it's all there, it's all present, outside of time and space. Get reborn in the Pure Land as quickly as possible. Do it now, not sometime in some future lifetime. That's when it'll be useful to you. You may not know that you're born in the Pure Land if you don't do it now. Yakas are part of the power beings, and I'm not sure. Mahakala is time. That's what's holding up the mirror, I believe. I don't know. In the Wheel of Life pictures, you've got this dragon sort of thing that's standing on a skull or something, and then you've got the realms of existence, 6 realms or the 5 realms of existence, and you've got the pig, the snake, and the cockerel in the middle. And that's actually, he's holding up a mirror to time. Yeah, if you want to study Buddhism, then the book to read, the very expensive book to read, is called Buddhist Religions. The first 4 editions were called Buddhist religion, and the 5th edition is called Buddhist religions. It's a very, very expensive book. It's a university book, but it's well worth exploring, and that puts different traditions in some perspective. So it's worth having a look at if you really want to investigate that. But know what you're doing and know the knowing, and don't believe any of it. It's all just theory. So, called hating, for example, belonging and getting caught in it, being seeing oneself and others who longs for this. Yeah. That's, but what one does when one gets caught in longing is that the energy is focused on, I long to do this, or I long to become this, and it's a narrowing down of the energy, of the possibilities. It's a believing in time and space, and the liberation is through understanding time and space. It's okay to aspire. Aspire comes from here I am now. If causes and conditions support, I can do this. But if you get caught in the catch is thinking, I need to do this in order to fulfill myself. That's the bit that is the sort of the bit that'll actually lead to more suffering. Yeah? Because what it feeds is a sense of lack. When I get this, then I'll be happy. We've all done that, haven't we? When I get the big red fire engine, then I'll be happy. And all you've done is feed the sense of then I'll be happy. Yeah? And that's the longing. That's what longing does. Because you get the big red fire engine, and actually what you're more interested in is the box. Or then you're worried about it breaking, and when you're that side, but when more and more, if you through life, my great insight into this was motorcycle. I really thought that when I got a motorcycle, then I'd be happy. I remember that feeling so well. When I get this motorcycle, then I'll be happy. I put a lot of effort into that. When you get a motorcycle, you just get a load of problems. One thing after another. And when people it's lovely to be out of debt, and it's lovely to have a house. But, I do ask people, do you own the house or does the house own you? And it's this body as well, We've put a lot of energy into getting this thing together, some way or another, and now we're stuck with it, and it's not really good enough, is it? It's just disappointing us or embarrassing us or doing something with it. And it's just getting older. So, who owns what? What is it all about? And it's not that it's not right to aspire, but aspiration comes from much more a sense of there's work to be done. I can do it. I can offer. I can receive. I can transform. And I'll do the best. I'll try to bless this moment. Yeah? And then if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. There's much less stress in that attitude. And then when then I notice the times that I do put stress into stuff. Oh, we've got to get this done. If we don't get this done, who's that doing? And then, but where's the attention? No, if the attention can rest more on the knowing and trusting that, this knowing of the knowing. Okay, sufficient. Thank you.